Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video. And does that not just feel nice to actually say, because it's been a wee while since me and thee got to sit here and talk about some football. In fact, I think I've only made one video. I've only seen you once in the last 2 weeks. It's been far too long, and it's maybe a wee story in and itself, because the last couple of international breaks we've been busy, haven't we? We've been worrying about this. Beale should go, blah blah blah. There's been so much madness, and these international breaks felt like they needed to come so we could try and clear out some madness. Now, this international break has came, everything's sort of gone well, everything's sort of gone in order, and we've just had to sit here, stand about like Castiel in that episode of Supernatural and just do nothing. No, I didn't see a Supernatural reference getting done in today's video, and I'm sure there's only 3 people that got it, but for those that did, that was pretty much spot on. But let's carry on with the actual video. Let's go ahead and dive into it. Again, if you do find yourself enjoying the content or on the channel at any time, please consider hitting that like button or hitting that subscribe button. Again, technically we're still on our streak of over 1,000 likes a video. It's just been great to see so many people enjoying the videos over the last couple of months. If we could keep that going, that would be tremendous, but I know that's on me to go ahead and earn that like. And there is some things to talk about, really there is, because we've always got that saying, you know what I mean, Aberdeen and Rangers are Aberdeen's cup final. Well, we actually play them in a cup final very soon, and I feel like this game is so damn important, not only for us going in to tomorrow, but also for Aberdeen, because Aberdeen want to show that it's still the exact same players that got embarrassed and went off the park to an orchestra of boos just a couple weeks ago, whilst we on the other side want to show that yes, it might be the same players that got embarrassed 3-1 at Ibrox, but it's a completely different team now that Clement is pulling the strings. But we'll dive more into that in the next couple of minutes once we get to the Rangers, and especially the psychological why I think this game is so important tomorrow. But before we get there, as always, let's catch up with Aberdeen then, shall we, and find out how they got on after that great win at Ibrox. Did they go? Did they take that performance? Did they take that result? Did it galvanise them as a squad? Did they shoot it like a cannon, perform like that week in and week out? Well, troops, if the word yes even floated about your noggins, you've clearly not been paying attention to this Aberdeen side, because they reverted back to type. You know what I mean? They're never ever beating the allegations that they only turn up against Rangers, because they had that performance, they had that result, and they followed up with back-to-back draws, including a nothing each draw versus St Johnstone at Pittodrie, before going and getting beat in Europe and then getting their absolute pants pulled down at Rugby Park. Now, the final score was just Kilmarnock 2, Aberdeen nothing, but if you look into that game and if you check it, that was a bona fide pumping at the hands of Kilmarnock that didn't really do that, if I'm honest with you, but they absolutely battered Aberdeen. Kilmarnock had 19 shots in the game. Aberdeen had just 5 with 1 on target. That was a 2-0 gone on a 6. Where was the energy? Where was the passion? Where was the fire in their stomach we saw at Ibrox? Well, it was gone during those games, and again, that's not a surprise. But just like Ross and Rachel, there was eventually a break as Aberdeen's winless run broke into, in their terrible run of form and their horrendous attitudes in those games was flipped on their head, as they had arguably one of their best performances of the season, right up there with the 3-1 win at Ibrox in my personal opinion, as they absolutely cooked Motherwell at Fir Park. Honestly, I could hear Gogsy greeting for here, troops, as they put them to the sword, and they were 4-0 up. Could have been more than that, probably should have been more than that, and then Motherwell saved a couple of blushes with 2 goals late on in the game. But that was Aberdeen back at their sharp attacking best. It must drive Aberdeen fans mental, all 4 of them, when they go ahead and they look at that and say, why can they not play like that every single week? And it's that game for me and that performance for me that really gave them the platform to go ahead and do what they've done in the semi-final, as they narrowly beat Hibs to again reach the final where they'll be playing us in a little while. Now, I know there's controversy regarding the fantastic Martin Boyle goal, the way he brought it down the laces, brilliant finish, smidge offside, lines touching, all that to one side. You've actually got to give this Aberdeen side credit, because they went down to 10 men, then to go on and still score the goal that wins you the game, being down to 10 men, being the second best all damn day, as a testament to them. So I'll give them the little bit of respect that they deserve. And speaking of little bit, the little purple patch in form ended after a good draw, in my opinion, 2-2 in European football, because their very next game was a trip to Park head is when I tell you, come here, when I tell you Celtic pummeled them into dust. I'm talking about vampires for Buffy level dust. They just got absolutely slaughtered in what was a truly embarrassing effort, performance, attitude and application for these Aberdeen players, as they didn't just concede one goal, they didn't even concede 2 goals in 90th minute, they conceded 3 goals in 90 minutes as Celtic ran away with the scoreline being 6-0 to Celtic, and Aberdeen never leave the glove on them all damn day, which actually makes it, if you want to pay attention, because I know there's people out there and there's pundits that look at, oh, this team at Ibrox, this team versus Rangers, this team, oh, well, if you want to start playing fairly, Aberdeen has lost 34 of the last 36 visits to Parkhead, 34 of the last 6, picking up just 4 of the 108 points available. That's the stats. That's the statistics. You can't hide for them, you can't pretend that's no there. That is damn right embarrassing, especially when you add the little sprinklet of addition on top of that cake, troops, by the 3 of the 4 points they've gained out of 108 available was in the last game of the season where they had to win to finish above us, and that just happened to be their only win there in a very, very long time. It's funny how that went ahead and happened, but that's the tale of the tape with Aberdeen. They have commented this game versus Rangers coming into tomorrow vowing. They are vowing to put in a different performance and a better performance and a better attitude than they showed at Parkhead, and there's not a single person on this planet that doubts them for a second. It will be a completely different side, and we know that, troops, and I know they're trying to say it doesn't matter who they're against. It obviously does, and I feel like talking about their stats and talking about where they sit in a position in the league, obviously sitting 9th in the table, is always irrelevant when it comes to Aberdeen. Where were they the last time we played them? 11th. They beat us 3-1. There is something about this fixture that gets this team playing the best that they want. I'm sure Aberdeen fans will be praying they could play like that more often, but they just didn't. So we could talk about how they're doing or how they've been scurried off Celtic and all this, but it'll be a different animal we face tomorrow, especially when, again, you've got the cup final. That's all the guys will be thinking about, an opportunity to lift some silverware, and they know if they can go into tomorrow's game and get something from us, that can put a dent in the newfound confidence that we have under Clement, because again, it's a different manager than was here, right? We were all doing, we were all out, we were wanting a change. Aberdeen put the final nail in the coffin, and it could come back to absolutely bite their arse. Maybe a wee bit of karma in that aspect when you look at how much they celebrated and enjoyed and mocked that win. We got a real manager in now, and that's flipped and changed everything. So for me, we move away from the Aberdeen side, who again I imagine will be tough physically, getting stuck into him, and we'll make this as ugly a game as possible, because not only is it cup final, if you will, for Aberdeen, but again, the psychological test that's ahead of what is a genuine cup final isn't too far away, and Aberdeen again will be looking to pop the Clement balloon right now. And as we move away from the Aberdeen side and get to the Rangers end, that's where I want to pick up right away, because we started off the video saying it is the same players, right? And they are the same players that came out and got embarrassed in the last time, and Aberdeen fans will probably take a lot of hangs from that and look at this game, and the players will say, well, we've beat them before. But I can't stress the difference a manager can make. And for the Rangers fans here that's watching and has watched the game since Clement's come in, I didn't need to stress or explain anything. You've seen it with your very own eyes. It's the same players, but with a completely different structure, a completely different fitness level already, and a completely different identity about going out there, dominating, smothering and attacking everything we got lied about and told in pressers and spun plates here that we would be getting here, there and everywhere. Clement's come in and in his short time has implemented it, and now he has what, in my opinion, his biggest test so far, because Aberdeen will be right up for this, and we need this considering what happened the last time. It's fair enough to keep saying, oh, Aberdeen need this, Aberdeen want this. We want it as well, because not only is it a massive must win, 3 points, but we need it to dent their confidence as well, and dent whatever self-belief they've got in the fact that they can hurt Rangers above everyone else. And where we mentioned earlier on the video, it was sad during the international break. It was quite boring. There was nothing really to really sink our teeth into. What has actually happened is it's given opportunities to the players like a Tom Lawrence, even we Ridvan, Barisic as well, to get minutes in their legs, get a bit fitter, get a bit sharper and get closer to that. So I feel like we as a football club going into tomorrow's game versus Aberdeen, and is a much, much better position than we were before the international break. So it was almost an unnecessary evil at that point. I'm just hoping we can continue to cook and play as well as we did before the international break. But where we do give boost to the likes of the Tom Lawrences and the Ridvans and the Barisics, there is some obviously negatives, as it's still far too early for Raskin. I shouldn't say far too early, it's still too early for Raskin. He's not going to be out for weeks upon weeks, Clement has said, but it's just too soon for him coming into this. So I'm still fingers crossed he should be able to play in the cup final, but he also should be able to play a couple games before that as well to get him back in and amongst it. But it's not just him that is ruled out / a doubt, as unfortunately Ryan Jack is listed as a doubt for Sunday. And this one hurts me a lot, right? Everything to one side now, when you're looking at it at a professional level, we are a better side with Ryan Jack in it. The biggest frustration for us as a fan base is we can't get Jacko in it enough. And for me, his last spell in the 3-4 games that he's played, 90 minutes, well, 8 minutes, 90 minutes, that he's played in a Rangers shirt, we've been tremendous and he's been tremendous. And it's so annoying because he's went again away with Scotland and it's a familiar story. He doesn't start the games, he doesn't play a lot of minutes, but he seems to always come back carrying or struggling a little bit. I don't know if it's because of the way they train, if they're not managing him properly. All I will say is there's seemingly a common theme every single time the laddie goes, and I know he loves playing for his country and that means a lot to him, and I'm not saying this or this, but there seems to be some, whenever he goes there, he comes back and they're no maintaining him or managing him properly because it is yet another niggle / knock that he's picked up on an international break after looking the fittest he's actually done. So I feel like Sutton, I don't know if I'm ranting for the sake of it, I'm just sounding mental right now, but does anyone else notice this? Every single time, it's no once, it's no twice, it's no 3 times, every single time Jacko goes to Scotland, he comes back and he's a doubt for the game that he's just back and he's barely playing. What did he last? He played 12 minutes for Scotland. It's not as if he's playing back-to-back 90s and we're overworking him. It must be the training methods or something. And Son's just no gelling there, and it's my biggest frustration, especially when you talk about strength in the middle of the park, what Aberdeen's going to bring to the platter. It is the type of game that Jacko thrives in, the strength, the physicality, and to be without him does leave an interesting gap in this Rangers midfield, especially when you start looking around, and obviously that I believe Clement will fix that puzzle. But I just wanted to say that, and it's annoying because he's playing so damn well, and something's happened there again and it's no worked out. But that's just my thoughts, and that's the latest updates. Everyone else remains to be in the exact same spell that we talked about in our last preview video. There's no anybody else that's just came back, there's no anybody else, fingers crossed, that's actually ruled out. Sorry about that, troops. Ended up having a bit of a sneeze right there. But the last little news we need to talk about before we wrap up the video with the old predictions and everything like that is obviously a bit of fantastic uplifting news. You know what I mean? I've sort of moaned there about the Jacko injury and stuff like that, and again, he remains a doubt. Hopefully he does play tomorrow. But we did get some good news as Rangers are finally doing what we've wanted for a long time. Give a youngster an opportunity, and when he takes it, we reward them with a contract. You know what I mean? They're not going to slip out the back door. We're not going to lose them here or lured over here. And that is none other than Ross mccaulsand, who is staying in-house, which is tremendous. It's a young talent, an emerging talent, and we've tied down, and that's great, protecting his value as he continues to skyrocket. It was great to see him playing for his country, already breaking into there. Hopefully he goes and has a successful career with Northern Ireland, and of course I'm hoping and praying he continues to dazzle and impress every single time he touches the surface in a Rangers shirt. But I just wanted to speak about that because it's a wee bit of uplifting news, it's a bit of good news. I'm absolutely buzzing for it, as you can imagine. If you're the long-term viewers of the channel, when we used to look at the youth players and used to cover youth football, he was one of the many few. Again, not all of them broke through or anything like that, and some of them maybe has went a different way, like the young McCann, Charlie McCann. Sorry, Neil said Neil McCann there. I thought Charlie McCann would also be amongst it, but it's good to see Ross coming through and hopefully continues, and I wouldn't be against seeing him again tomorrow versus Aberdeen. Now, would they start that right there, we take some crown jewels to call, but the lad's full of confidence, and if we're needing a goal, if we're needing a bit of magic, we can now rely on a young lad, and more importantly, we now have a manager who believes in that philosophy. And I know people just say, oh, you're just trying to give Clement the credit for this and this and this. I didn't think it's unfair to say that if we hadn't made the managerial change, this contract's not getting signed right now. If you didn't want to believe me, if you didn't want to do that, look at how we've handled contracts over the last year and a bit 2 years. It's been embarrassing, but now we've got an authoritative figure in there that's looking people in the eyes and demanding action gets done. So aye, you might be saying, oh, you're just giving Clement another bit of a cheer and applaud, but honestly, for everything I've heard, everything I've seen, everything we've been through, this is a big attribute this guy's bringing in to the football club, protecting the value of young players and giving them opportunity. So aye, how do you feel about Ross getting a long-term contract in? Do you expect him to get any minutes? Mora. All that's left for us today is try to predict the unpredictable, and that is Rangers versus, well, pretty much anyone, but especially Aberdeen. And I do feel like, because of maybe the loss of Jacko, for instance, we're going to have to go a wee bit more attacking. We didn't have almost a like for like. It will be obviously Lunny in there. Be looking at another attacking player, maybe Lawrence. And people might say, oh, well, that's a risk up at Pittodrie. But that's the way Clement thinks. Again, he looks at these teams, no disrespect to any of them in the league, the way that they should. We have much better players on paper. Let's put them actually out there to go ahead and do it. Now, let's not overthink and be scared of this and scared of that. Let's just go for it. So I feel like we will actually go for it, and I see an almost a reverse scoreline coming of a Rangers 3, Aberdeen 1. I know he's always expecting a 2-1 channel favourite, but aye, a wee reverse on that. That one. What about you? Let me know your thoughts and opinions on where we are as a club. What do you think? How big this game actually is, and maybe the international thing with Jacko and that as well. I don't know if anyone's resonating with that or understanding what I'm meaning, or am I just talking absolute nonsense and it's just unlucky? You can let me know in there, but there's just seems to be something wrong, and I feel like there needs to be a conversation there, because he's such a good player, we're such a good team with him, that it's absolutely painful that we keep losing him for what? 11 minutes during an international break. Do you know what I mean? But that's all I've got to say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. What about you? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down there in the comment section below. And as always, I've been Sage and 2. I'll see you tomorrow after the game. All the best, and bye-bye.